Hello everybody and welcome to the BU podcast. My name is Jess and this week's episode is all about being a black student at university. So please can you tell me your name and what course you're on / did? Go.
Hi, so obviously my name is Jamel, current Student Union Vice President, and I studied Sport Development Coaching as the undergrad and MSc Sports Coaching as my master's.
Yeah, exciting.
Nice. My name is Frida and I studied dance.
Exciting. Next.
I'm Ken. I've done an undergrad, graduated, and now I'm doing an MSc in nutrition.
Very exciting. Excellent. So, like I said before, this week's episode is all about being a black student here at the University of Chichester. So, first off, why did you choose Chichester? Frida, go.
Oh, okay. Straight ahead. So I knew that the contemporary course here was really rich. So I think that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to come here out of all the other universities, no shade. So that's definitely why I was like gravitated to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sticking with you, did being a black person impact what university you decided to study at?
Yeah, definitely. Prior to choosing Chai, I wanted to go into a more bigger city. Obviously, as well as like being at an institution that was gonna like make me like a great dancer and performer overall. But one of the big factors was that I wanted to be somewhere where I was gonna be able to see myself and other people that were part of like the ethnic minority. So it definitely was a factor. But then, I don't know, I just feel like this is something that you struggle with in life anyway, like, especially when it's something so niche, you could say, you do start to realise and see that you are always one of the only black person there, or maybe like there's three of you. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken, same question to you. Why did you choose Chichester and did being a black person impact why you chose us?
Well, I personally believe that Chichester, I can't even say the word, Chichester.
Nice.
There we
It's
go.
been 4 years. I think it chose me, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I'm from Croydon, so it's like,
Oh, Bob.
yeah, so
Used
it's
to live
like,
there, South Croydon.
Yeah, I live there now, so it's
Sorry.
it's like the ghetto. So, and I didn't want to be around my friends, so I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go far away down south where the sand is, and then I was gonna chill there.
Nice.
And yeah, I knew it was white. I knew it was a very, very white place, and I think I just wanted to be around like the older generation.
Very old generation.
Yeah, the very, very elderly generation.
Yeah.
And I thought if I just chill there, it means I can get my head down and work
Yeah,
instead of being partying and stuff. But it still happened, so it was okay.
that's good. Got a good balance of chilling with the old people and chilling with students.
Yes, I did.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Jamel, same question to you. Well, same two questions. Do you need them again?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Again, why not? Why
I'll
not?
treat you to the questions again. Why did you choose Chichester? I guess for both your undergrad and your postgrad, and did being a black student impact it?
I'm going to be controversial and ask the second question first.
You
I think
do you, Jamel.
being-
Be
you.
yourself.
being a black student, I think it didn't affect where I came to university, because I think I went to school in a very white populated place. I went to primary school in a very white dominated place, and then I went to secondary school in exactly the same kind of in Canterbury, which is very similar to Chichester. So I think
Very similar.
that was something that drew me to Chichester, because it felt like home, even though I was a minority. It still felt like home. And I kind of agree with Ken. Like, Chichester chose me. I didn't do an open day. I came onto campus to have an interview, and that was it. I turned down all the other universities and was like, Chichester is right for me. I can see myself growing. I can see myself being me.
Nice. We'll stay with you, Jamel. Why not? I'm running the show, so here we are. Has being a black person impacted your experience at university or living in the local area?
I think it has. I think Ken touched on it earlier. Like, Chichester is predominantly white. We're not going to beat around the bush, but it did affect and also didn't. Like, it's like I said to you earlier. It felt comfortable. I felt like home.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously sometimes the lack of food, obviously cultural food.
African food.
I'm from the Caribbean, so it's slightly different. But for the lack of food, obviously maybe the lack of barbers was a factor.
The lack of barbers.
Oh no.
Don't get me started. We'll get that.
This sounds like a touchy subject.
Yeah.
Talk about barbers for a little bit.
Oh my
We can talk
Yeah,
about
I think it's-
Barbers is a big thing.
Is
bro.
it really?
It's the biggest thing. Well, I can't go home and spend £45 on a train and then it's long.
No, that is
Just want a
long.
barber, but I can't have Barry the barber doing my hair because Barry the barber hasn't met Ken the barber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's difficult.
But I think it goes deeper than that. I think it's also a relationship. Like barbers, obviously, when growing up, had a relationship with you. It's more than just a barber. It's kind of the place where, like, you'd go and sit and chill. Like, I used to sit with my barbers sometimes for 2 hours, have my haircut, and sit there for 2 hours after my haircut, and just having a conversation. So I think it's more than just.
Have you had the same barber for since you were young?
I tried, but my barber's in London now.
I've had the same barber for 20 years.
Loyalty. That's loyalty
goodness.
right there.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate on obviously a slightly different level, just with hair in general, because oh my god, how much time we got? I'll keep it short, but I remember when I came here, and I was like, oh my gosh, where am I going to go to find my products? And at that time, I didn't like Amazon wasn't really like selling a lot of the like Afro-Caribbean like products that I personally use. So I couldn't go there to like order it either. So I had to literally go back home and then like go to the local like African shop there to be able to get the products that I would use. And go back home to get my hair done by my mum. Little things like that, like I think the everyday white person doesn't really have to think about that is such a factor in your daily living when you grow up, well, when you're studying somewhere that doesn't have these like facilities and these things that you need. And it even, it was even a factor as to why I didn't do like a year abroad. Because I knew that if I had to make the it sounds ridiculous to average person because you're like, it's just hair. But it's bigger than that.
It's
like,
more than hair.
especially as a woman, like it is like part of you.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do a year abroad or even like audition for it because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go over there. And then who's going to do my hair? How am I going to sort this out? And it's just these little factors that always like are running through your mind when you make any decision in life.
Yeah.
Which is, it's very deep, but it's literally the reality.
That is
Yeah.
hard. That is hard. And
Yeah.
it's not something that I've obviously ever had to think about.
Mm.
But, I mean, it's good to hear it, really. Ken, put you in the spotlight for a second. What positive experiences have you had at university?
I was actually going to mention this year. I don't know about you lot, but there's something different about seeing a black person in Chichester.
Yeah, you give them the eye. I saw a few guys say it, I was like, hello.
And I feel like, right, ever since like I've been here, and each year that goes on, there's just another person. Like, obviously, you're gonna get black people coming. But I remember my second year, and there was no black people like in Stockbridge, but I saw the freshers come through, and I saw like 6 black boys sitting. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, boys. They're like, yo, you're right. And I was just like, oh. And I'm still friends with them now. So it's like,
that's great.
I just feel like those positives is like, you're always a family.
Yeah.
And there's always another person that comes in and then another person, you're like, oh, you know what, black guys have got to stay together. Because if the black guys are against each other, you're gonna have no friends. That's how I see it.
No friends and no barber.
No friends, no barbers. Now there's a black barber as well. So,
there?
Yeah.
Is good?
Yeah, I have to say he's good. He hasn't done my hair yet, but he's black,
okay.
so he's good.
So he must be good.
He must be good, yeah. So I don't know, but seeing everyone, all the black boys, and seeing Jamel, it's just beautiful.
I mean, we all love Jamel.
I know, man. What a guy. What a guy.
Always staying humble, people. Always staying humble.
And I feel like I can relate to him, especially because he's VP, you know. It's like, I can go to him if I need help, which is the same as everyone else. It's like, you can go to them when you need help because they can relate to you. When your trim is looking bad, you know you can go to Jamel and be like, look, my hair's bad too. And you know?
Wow.
Just that connection.
Such a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we need to get a haircut then.
Yeah. Oh, isn't this awkward? This is.
No.
it's
I got a barber in Croydon. You can come with me.
We can have a little road trip after this if you do want.
Do you want to come?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You're coming tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll skip work and do that instead.
Oh, sorry.
Perfect. Frida,
Yes.
what about any positive experiences you've had?
I think because obviously this university is smaller, naturally it's that close-knit like community that the uni gives. And yeah, like I've made amazing friends from being here. So I think that's definitely like one of like the highlights. And obviously in my course, like I really loved my last year in particular, because I did I was part of the third year dance company.
Oh, you did 3/4.
Yeah, 3/4. So that was really fun, and it was just a really good taster into like what it would be like in the outside world professionally.
that's really
So I love that. Yeah, I say those are my top 2 highlights.
Oh, that's a good highlight. Jamel, you've been here for ages.
Ages.
Yeah, well, 6 years is a long time.
6 years, isn't it just a long time?
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got some positive experiences from all the 600 years you've been here.
Well, obviously, like everyone would have had our ups and downs, but positive, I think, becoming vice president, I feel like,
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
It's got to be
well,
up there.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's top 2, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think,
Was the top one getting it the first time and the top getting it the second?
well, I don't want to boast,
Yeah,
but
that makes sense. Yeah.
that's just me. No, I think getting vice president, I think for me was the big highlight, the big positive, because like even though I got in and I've obviously hopefully done a really good job, I think the students hopefully have seen that. But I think for me it's more paving the way for people coming afterwards.
Excellent.
I think it's making people aware that you can do it, even if you are from a minority. You can do it. It's still achievable. It's not something out of reach. Like I would hopefully be a role model to people coming through and thinking, Jamel did that. You know what? I can do that too.
Yeah.
I think that's really, sorry to like jump in here, but I do think it's really important, because if you're not seen, you don't think you can achieve.
Yeah.
And I think especially in our community, like when I've seen people that I admire in spaces that I like those are like my goals, spaces, whatever, I feel like I'm able to also put in that hard work and potentially get there as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's something the university could really take on, and just basically, if they want to have more of like an inclusive uni, you need to be able to also represent that through your teachers, like through guest speakers, like lecturers, everyone like on your team should be a version of someone that's out there.
Yeah.
Make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So I think it's really important.
Absolutely. So, Ken, we'll go back to you.
Go for it.
Do you feel accepted in the university community?
Do I feel accepted?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have to, innit? Like, they accepted me here, so I mean, I got on the course.
Oh, like an actual acceptance?
Yeah, like I got the initial acceptance. It's hard to say because you go through like different kind of. You go through your blips and so you might question like obviously I don't know. I think it's hard because I'm just in a white uni and I just know that I'm in a white uni. I just like get on with it. I know that people like me and it's fine, and people they want to talk to me and they want to but I don't know. I think it's hard to say whether I feel accepted because I know that people know my worth.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I feel accepted, but I feel like as a black student, there might be other people that have completely different stories.
Yeah, very
So
true.
it's like I'm like on the fence because I've had my experiences as well, and it's like accepted. I don't know. You have to ask them whether they accept me really.
Do you feel like, sorry, I feel like I keep jumping in here, but it's just
Please
because
do.
like you just keep saying things that just make me want to ask you something. Do you feel like you're tokenized though?
100%.
Because like,
But you can't. I
By-
feel like you have to. I feel like it's the only way. So it's like, what are you asking them to do? I feel like I've got to be tokenized in order to be a voice. Same way that Jamel was VP because he had to give them a voice. So he might be like, yeah, maybe I was just this because I was black. But at the end of the day, you got asked, what do you want? You got to see change somehow.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, I
Otherwise,
get you.
there's just going to be no change. So yeah, tokenized, of course I do, because it's the whole point of how you see change. Same way that if there was like going to be like another female president or whatever, or prime minister or something, that's got to be put in place so that you can have change. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
No, I get what you're saying, but I think sometimes why I think some people are just like being tokenized, obviously is not necessarily a good thing, is because you're putting so much pressure on one person to be the representation for everyone else. And if someone hasn't come into contact with a black person before and they think you are just like the epitome of what every black boy is, do you see what I mean? How that can be like at times dangerous because they're going to go around thinking everyone's just the same.
But that goes down to just experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a version of whatever I represent, and I'm happy to be that version and, do my thing. and then that's just up to them whether they want.
Yeah, you're right. It's not your responsibility.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
feel
like if people tokenize you,
my
that's
personality
there.
and my way of being black, because probably different ways of being black.
100%.
I was
yeah.
raised in Croydon, but I'm not like your average black boy. So then that's when it becomes a problem whether what's an average black boy.
Exactly.
So you just got to go see all the black boys in Croydon. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen all the black boys in Croydon. I know the different ones, the cool ones, the funny ones, the dangerous
Yep.
ones, but no one else knows that. So I feel like when I come to Chichester, they're like, black boy from Croydon.
So everybody's like
Yeah,
that.
they're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you live in Croydon. That's scary. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a good boy. Like,
Oh.
so I think it's hard to see the average black person, but I think it's up to me to be the something,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least.
Be the something.
Be the something. Yeah, the good guy.
So, Frida, what are the main things that listeners need to learn about being a black student in university?
I think coming off of what we just talked about just then is that we're not a monolith. Is that the right word? Like, we're not all the same.
No.
So I think that is probably the biggest thing, like, because like you said, a lot of people do have in their mind subconsciously a version of what a black girl should be and their idea of what a black boy should be. So I think first understanding that we're not the same, just like everyone else, is like the main thing. Yeah, I would say that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah. Jamel, do you have anything to add?
No, I kind of agree. Like, we're all from different backgrounds. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
I grew up
Yeah.
outside of London, but Ken grew up. Sorry.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. Ken grew up inside of London, obviously in Croydon. So it's like we're very different, and we all.
I didn't know Ken was from Croydon. He hasn't mentioned it.
I'm from Croydon. Did you
Really?
know? Yeah.
Oh.
South side of the bridge.
What bridge is that?
I don't know. There's a bridge somewhere.
The bridge, do you not know it?
No,
How
sorry.
embarrassing.
But yeah, no, I think you like got to realise that we're all different, and we all have had different struggles and come from different backgrounds. So I think it's kind of taking that into perspective as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good main one. So, Jamel, we'll stay with you. What important things do you feel people need to learn about black history?
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
I think we all just
So
had.
much.
I think eye contact between the three of us. Kind of.
Now's the time.
I think for me, it's people educating themselves and looking into it themselves. I think
Yeah.
it's so easy to say, "Oh, I've got a black friend. I'll talk to him," and listen to that experience. Or I have a girl who I know who's black, and Then we talk to them about it. But I think it's down to
My boyfriend's black. So
yeah.
I can't be, what is it? I can't be racist. I got a black friend.
So I think it's people understanding what the struggles. And I know you can't. You may not be able to understand it fully because obviously you haven't experienced it yourself. Like, you might not experience racism, you might not experience being discriminated against or looked at a completely different way that makes you feel really uncomfortable. Like, I think it's just making people aware and like maybe not understanding it, but learning about it and saying, I'm sorry you've gone through that. How can I be a better ally? How can I be anti-racist? How can I help you and make you feel comfortable as well?
Yeah. Good.
I think that more people are actually worried about being called racist and understanding what it is that they do that are racist.
Yeah.
I think they just don't want to be like brushed with this like term because they're so fearful of what it is. But it's like, what, like, actually understand what it is that you're doing, or maybe the things that you say that are, you know, and unlearning the things that you've been taught, which is a process in itself to unlearn anything. So you just gotta, if you really care, you will take the time to find different, like, there's so much out there nowadays. There's literally podcasts, there's documentaries, there's
YouTube.
films, there's literally everything is out there for you to learn if you really want to learn. Yeah.
Because it's not your responsibility to teach
No.
everything, is it? No. I haven't got enough time in the day.
Yeah, I know about fake tan. I don't even fake tan. Like, come on, guys. Like, I know about balayage. I've never balayaged my hair in my life. Like, come on.
To be fair, what is a balayage? I still don't.
It's like when
Man, you don't know
they've
what that
got
is.
different-
tell them. When you have the different, you carry on.
pressure. I think it's like when your hair blends from one colour to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah? Got the approval.
No, I had no idea.
Spot on. You should get it.
Yeah.
Nah,
Some blonde in there, maybe.
No?
You
Yeah.
don't do that in Croydon. I can't. Do that.
no.
No.
Don't fancy some frosted tips? That'd look nice.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe going forward.
For
That is the
charity.
next question, actually. Jamel, would you like to do some frosted tips?
Yes.
Um, No, actually, and I'll do the next question. Ken, we'll start with you. What's it like to be a black person in the UK?
In the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, that's big. Like,
We're going everywhere now.
do you know what?
Outside Croydon kind of territory.
In the UK, I think we are well represented by, I think, like, you see Dave, Stormzy's, you see the rappers and the big guys and the people that start the businesses, and I think we're represented well like that. But then I feel like when you talk about the UK, you just don't mention us. It's like we are not like the UK. I think we very much stick together and stay away from the whole kind of politics kind of stuff, because politics it wasn't made for us.
That's not made for anybody, really, is it?
No, it's just made it's people in Chichester.
Yeah.
It's made for those ones. I just don't feel like politics is something that we even care about. So we create our own little bubble in the UK. But everyone loves the Daves, the Stormzys, and these guys, and they are our voice. So I think like we're well represented by the people that do well.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you haven't done well, I think like you kind of look down upon.
Yeah.
I disagree with you.
Oh, do you?
And,
Go for it, man.
I feel like I understand what you're saying, because I think we definitely are represented in like the creative industries. We're always on the forefront. We're always creating things that are popular and trendy. But you saying about like in terms of politics, how like we don't really like, we're not in that territory. I think it doesn't necessarily mean that people don't want to be. It's just that people don't give us a space to be welcome there, so people don't feel like they can achieve it. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you don't see yourself, you're not going to go for something like that.
I think that goes back to upbringing. I think I was always told
Yeah, you have to work
twice as
Yeah.
hard.
And I feel like that's everywhere you go. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, because you're agreeing. Like, I think you have to work twice as hard than the person next to you, like, to achieve anywhere, to get where you are, because obviously there are barriers.
Yeah.
I've just mentioned earlier, there's barriers there. And kind of going back to the point, like, talking about politicians and stuff, there are barriers there, but people have to work twice as hard to get there. By the time you get there, you're like, oh, I've worked twice as hard. But it's about paving, like, even though, we go back to the tokenistic point earlier, like, even if you have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to get there, you're paving the way for the people coming after you. Like, the whole point is be a role model to the people coming after you, so they know that so-and-so did this, I can do this.
Yeah.
And all it takes is for a few people, like, you look at Rio Ferdinand, look at Alex Scott, with 2 former footballers that are now presenters. Alex Scott's now presenting, I think she presented Match of the Day on a Sunday, for example. Yeah. Like, that's mad. She's from a black background and she's presenting something, and Rio Ferdinand's doing really well for himself. So there's
going to be other people that
are going to be other people,
and,
and we can do it, but we've just got to work twice as hard, unfortunately, and that's what life is like when you're a black person in the UK.
Yeah, I do think also now with social media though, it's such a great platform, because so many people are putting themselves out there, because they're realizing that, okay, if these companies, if these mainstream medias aren't going to give us the opportunities, then we'll do it ourselves. And now they see that there's like a buzz around particular people, particular industries, and particular people in these industries. That's when now the big dogs come down. They're like, oh, now we want to work with you. So yeah, I think being a black person in the UK is just, I think simple as just a struggle. But we are the buzz. We create the trends. We do.
Beautiful.
Can't deny it.
We love to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. How important is the Black Lives Matter movement?
How important? I think it goes beyond Black Lives Matter. I think it's not just... I mean, Black Lives Matter obviously isn't a recent thing. It's not something that's just popped up and gone away again. I know it probably has from social media. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I did the Blackout Tuesday post. It's kind of done and dusted, but it's still going on. Like, we're still fighting to be equal. We're still fighting to be seen as equal. Like...
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like, obviously, I think with the pandemic, everybody was just forced to deal with a lot. And obviously, when that was thrown in all of our faces, people couldn't deny it. Like, they had to tackle the issue, and I think that's why it's become such a big thing. But like you said, it's been going on for years. The movement before George Floyd is going to carry on to go on. And I think the fact that, like, after this whole buzz and all these companies putting out the like you know, when the companies put out like
the statements.
Statements to say how many people actually work for the company that were black and things like that. Like, everybody was trying to look like they were part of the movement. And ever since then, it's just, I don't feel like people are being as consistent, to say the least.
It becomes, sorry to interrupt, I think it becomes a trend. I think,
Yeah, 100%.
like the new cycle, obviously, that was Sarah Everard this year, and obviously women empowerment. I think it's still, no matter what the next trend is or whatever the next issue's going on, it's still remembering the other issues that are around it. And even though it's not on the news, not in newspapers, it's still then we're gonna keep learning, we're gonna keep trying, we're gonna keep trying to make things equal, as a obviously for companies especially. And I think, and obviously I'm speaking about my own personal opinion, I think the University of Chichester is doing that. It may be just behind the scenes, but I believe they're taking steps
Yeah.
to be more equal.
Hello. Did you want to add anything, Ken?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree with the whole kind of it becoming a trend and stuff, but I've told Jamel before, like, I think everyone needs to realise that obviously Black history's got the whole history side to it, but everyone's in the same situation but doesn't realise it. In terms of, we got the Sarah Everard thing, and that came out as a trend, and, you know, we will come and we will support each other, and then you got the women spiking thing, and we will come and we support each other, and then you got the black stuff, and it's like very hard to, I don't know, pick and choose. It becomes like the whole racist thing comes up and be like, all right, the BLM movement is, we're not racist. Everyone comes out and says, yeah, by the way, we're not racist too. And it's like, yeah, see, we got no racist people. And then 2 months down the line, it's just another problem. And it's like the black, putting the black squares in your story, like on your post, like how many people still have that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you got to question what you're doing rather than like when you're doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like now we have to wait for something, obviously, God forbid, something else happens, so that you kind of talk about it. But you got to question like yourselves and what are you doing now? Are you still doing stuff now, or have you stopped going outside and marching? Because no one's asking you to go outside and march. That's my whole thing.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't have to be a big thing.
I didn't ask you to go outside and march. I didn't even go outside and march.
It could be a small thing, like, for example, if you know that, like, you've seen that in your workspace there isn't that many black people, start to question that and ask why, and just see what, like, the work culture around you is like, are people addressing these issues? Are the jobs that are going out, like, are you seeing an influx of people that are black applying, but your company's rejecting it? Like, do you know what I mean? You need
I
to...
think it's thinking about those things, even yourself, like, it doesn't have to be crazy big.
No.
It's just like thinking like, wait, why is there no black people in my work area?
Literally.
Like, I think just those things are like the big things, but no one's asking you to make noise.
No.
And then obviously that when I was talking about making noise, so then when everyone makes noise, like, oh, everyone's making noise about this racist, and it's just,
There's no winning.
there's just no one's gonna win.
Yeah.
But I think it goes beyond, obviously I know you guys spoke about workplace, but I think it's the group of friends. I think if you, and obviously it's because of being an ally, like if your group of friends are like not saying not racist, but anti-racist, like call out each other. Like if, for example, someone makes a comment and you're like, hold on a minute, you can't be saying that. Whether it's to do with race, whether it's to do with gender equality or any of the protected characteristics, like call them out on it. Like that culture of saying what you want and not offending anyone's gone.
Yeah.
Like you've got to call your friends out. You've got to tell them, actually, no, I don't agree with that. I don't think you can say that. That's not right.
Yeah.
Like that's not what the typical black man's like that sort of thing. Like really challenge your friends, and if they're not like you, if they don't want to have similar opinions to you, obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but if they're going to discriminate, then are they really your friends?
Yeah, why would you want to have people around you that are like that? Because, like, your friends are basically the representation of you. I do believe that to a certain extent. Obviously, you're not all going to be the same exact in every way, but they're an extension of you. And if you, surely you'd want to have people around you that, like, want to evolve and grow and, like,
And
see
support
better.
you.
Yeah, support,
When
yeah.
you're going through a hard time and there's things going on in the world, at least support me through it.
Yeah.
Don't be part of the
Problem,
hate crime and the problems,
Exactly.
Absolutely. Righty. Next one. Jamel, we'll start with you. Do you feel the BLM movement has improved how you are treated and respected, and what needs to change?
I think it's opened people's eyes. I think it took for like the pandemic to happen, and obviously George Floyd, and I think everyone was like, oh, this massive thing's happened. It's like, hold on a minute. Just because the camera caught it doesn't mean it hasn't been going on
Yeah,
before.
this isn't the first instance.
It's not the first incident, and it, unfortunately, it won't be the last.
No.
But I think people are more aware of it, and I think people want to. Obviously, there's a group of people out there that want to educate themselves. There's people that are, I'm going to use the word naive, and don't really want to know, don't really want to learn. But if you're willing to learn, I think it's it's helped people, like help people to understand what you're going through and the struggles that you have.
Yeah, and like you said, it's being anti-racist. That's, yeah. Frida, want to add anything?
Do you mind reading that question again?
Yes,
please?
absolutely. It was quite a long one,
I
to
was
be
going to
fair.
ask as well.
Yeah, that's okay, right, both of you. Listen, how do you feel the BLM movement has improved how you are treated and respected, and what needs to change?
Okay. I think definitely agree with you that people are now more aware. But I mean, there's always room for improvement. I just need consistency. I think that's the main thing, is just consistency.
And not following trends.
Yeah.
And letting it die.
Exactly. Yeah, I think people need to be consistent with what they say and what, especially if they truly care. But I think overall it's been interesting to see how people now are more open to conversation.
Good.
Yeah, I think that would be my main.
Yeah. Ken, anything to add?
Yeah. Also, like when she was saying conversation, which is like my favorite thing ever. Like I don't mind. Like I've said to Jamel as well. I don't mind ignorance. I don't mind conversations. Like if you don't understand something and you think it's absolutely crazy. Luckily with me, I don't mind listening to it and being like, brother, like you cannot say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that. But that's like the way I see things going forward, like with the people around me. And I think especially with like black people, it's like, what do we accept now? It's like if someone, because I have someone that doesn't want to call me black, she calls me urban. So it's like, darling, it's okay. You can say black. Like you can say black, but it depends like, what do I accept? Like, I don't mind a bit of ignorance, but then you can't go too far. But there's no line. There actually isn't a line because everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone accepts everyone's tolerance is different. So
Yeah.
I think it's gotten better now because people are like, okay, I need to kind of watch what I say, but
Yeah.
the line is where I don't know yet.
Do you find that you get a lot of people who don't know what to ask and don't know how to ask it and feel nervous to ask you? Like,
Yeah, I feel like
I know what I mean, but it's really hard to.
Yeah, no, I totally
Awesome.
get you.
Do you get what I mean?
yes.
It's also in their demeanour. They're like, I don't really want to offend you, but like I just want to know.
But
And
then
I'm
that's
like,
awkward. It's like I just
It's,
want everyone to be free again. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Not
thing,
too free.
I get like the nervousness because obviously if you truly don't want to offend someone and you really are trying to ask because you want to know a bit more, I think maybe you could just start with making a statement like, wait, let me think. Maybe just by saying like, excuse my lack of ignorance,
Yeah.
but da-da-da-da-da. And I think there's always, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a tone in it. There
Yeah.
are certain people that come across so ignorant. It's like that's annoying. The way you've can I say it? Can I say it?
yeah.
It's like, you didn't have to do that, my darling.
Not like that.
Yeah, and if you're really scared, just Google it. Like, Google is free.
Google's free and you don't
So-
need to offend anybody with Google.
Exactly. You can just delete your search history if you're really that paranoid.
Sorted.
What's that thing that Marcus Rashford done? Can I say wagwan or something?
Oh my gosh.
Bless him.
Yeah, that's what I would say. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's the way people approach things. Like, I don't mind you asking a question, but I think it's realizing where you're asking the question from. That makes sense. So like
the way you phrase it.
the way you phrase it, because I'm hoping you guys haven't had this, but it's the kind of the where you from question. Like, how to phrase it. You could probably just be like, well, I was born in this country. Where were you born? Where's your family heritage from? Like, not where you from.
I don't know.
But where you really from?
But these are the type of people that will say that they're not racist. And it's not a racist question,
just
but it's just derived.
They're just dumb. I was gonna say ignorant,
just
but this
dumb.
time it's just
Nah,
dumb.
we're
They don't
past
have
ignorance
default
now.
questions. You know what I mean? Like I think with black people we can get away with it. Bro, where you from? What you mean like from? Yeah, where you from? I'm from Congo. And it goes the flow is nice. But they're like,
Yeah.
excuse me, like where are you from? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know if you're asking from or you
Right.
asking from. Or like, there's no default question. Like I've never heard a white man say heritage in my life. Never.
It's so true, yeah. I mean, sorry, going back to a statement I just made before, I just said these are the same people that would say they're not racist. I didn't mean not racist, they would say that they don't see colour. But clearly you do because you're recognising there's a difference here and you're trying to be inquisitive and find out, but apparently you don't. But yeah,
Why'd you open the box?
sorry, we go there. No, I have had that question before, and for me it's quite not complex, but I had a bit of like a identity crisis as I was growing up. I think most people do anyway, because I'm Ghanaian, both parents Ghanaian, but I actually grew up in Italy, and then I moved from Italy to England. So for me, all I knew was growing up in Italy. Obviously, I knew like my Ghanaian heritage, but I grew up eating pasta. Like I was so absorbed by that culture.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, obviously I didn't know. I was still learning about myself. I used to be like Italy, and they would be so confused. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh yeah, well my parents are Ghanaian, which makes me Ghanaian.
They're like, oh yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense now.
right.
Yeah, Black Italian. No.
But yeah, that question is. You could just. I mean, how would you like suggest someone to ask that question? Do you? Just don't.
It depends who you have. That's what I'm saying. With me, easy. Just ask it how it is. We'll get over it. With other people, don't try it the same way because you will offend them.
I mean, what's your heritage? I would.
I'd say Caribbean,
I would understand it when they say that.
but heritage obviously it's knowing what it actually means.
I mean, the fact that they come on, the fact
where
that a white person's
culture?
asking.
Where's your culture from? Is that better?
No, just ask me where I'm from, man. I'll know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I would just. Yeah, to be honest, someone asks me where I'm from, I would just say I'm Ghanaian. So, because especially if it's both. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
Do you
I'm
say
English, man.
you're? Wait, where are you from?
I'm Congolese.
Congolese. Okay, so would you say you're? Were you born in Congo? Or were you born here?
I was born here.
So do you classify yourself as British?
I have to, man. Black British is what I
Okay,
put.
yeah. I mean, a lot of black people that were born and like in the UK would classify themselves as British. I hear a lot of Nigerians call themselves like Nigerian British.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, I'm British. I'm not out here screaming, I'm English, I'm British. No one asks me enough for me to even know what answer to give. But if that's where you're from, I tell them.
Yeah.
Congo.
Side note, Frida, can you speak Italian?
No,
You don't know what's
pasta,
going on
spaghetti.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
It's okay. The next episode is being an Italian student.
Oh,
at university,
dear.
So we'll get you back
Get
for that
Frida
one.
again.
Yeah.
my
How
days.
embarrassing. I'm sorry, everyone.
I'm just asking. I just want to know if you can speak Italian. That was
I
mine.
can understand better than I can speak.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's really. That's something I really want to get back into learning.
I've completely derailed it. I'm
Sorry,
going to get it back on track.
We're going
now.
back on track.
Jamel, I want to talk to you about the SU now. Now you're here. Is there a process for students to report if they have experienced racism at uni?
Yes, there is actually. It is not as obvious. It's not the right word. Like as it's not an easy thing to find. But once you find it, I think it's quite easy to report. And also the filling in the form.
How do you find it first before you carry on? Where is it?
No, I didn't know.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't know.
The fear in your eyes said otherwise.
It depends if you want to find it on the university website or the SU website. Like I don't know if it's on the university website, but on the SU website, it's always utsu.org/tell us.
Wonderful.
See, I know. It's obviously it's funny on the university website is the hard bit because you have to go through this and then click on this.
Plus the website's new and nobody knows how it works.
But I think alongside that, as an SU, I think we're hopefully at the like kind of pushing and leading the way. I think.
Yeah. What are the SU doing?
So actually, it's quite nice that obviously the former president Mo obviously started it, and luckily I've been able to continue it. So we recently have, as of this year, gave our part-time bar staff, so all the students, some EDI training. Our clubs and societies have had EDI training. So for those that don't know, EDI is equality, diversity, and inclusion. So not just covering. I know this episode's about obviously being a black student, but covering more things, obviously like pronouns and other stuff like that. So it's not just around being black, it's everything else as well. And then I've been asked recently by 2 different lecturers to deliver training, workshop kind of thing around EDI stuff, but more related to the course. So that's been quite good as well. So
That's really cool. Yeah. Is there anything else that the SU are doing to make sure that black students in particular feel represented and included in the community?
So we do have an ethnic minorities officer, so Jack, who's really keen on helped us with obviously Black History Month as well, which is really keen. So Gemma and I were leading on it, but Jack helped us as well. And then in next semester, we're looking to do kind of like a celebrating culture day.
Yeah.
To getting people to share their culture and talk about where they're from and where they're from. As Ken said earlier.
From.
There we go.
And kind of celebrate what makes them them.
Awesome. Is there anything else that any of you want to add that we haven't said that you feel is important that needs to be said?
I think for me, it's what the university is doing. I think obviously I know it's a start, and you have to start somewhere. I obviously know we're a very white-dominated university, but I think the fact that Ken is seeing more black people, black guys, for example, than he saw when he was in his first year. Like, the more people you see, the more culture that we can add to this university, the more people that come from different backgrounds, whether you are black or from another ethnic minority, it's like, come experience Chichester, come to Chichester and make a difference.
Yeah.
Even though it's not your responsibility and you might not want to be a part of it, but it's educating the people around you. It'll help the university and also help the students that come through with you and graduate with you as well.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, it's all about paving the way, isn't it? Yeah.
For sure.
So, Frida, I'll ask you a different question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone who was a black student applying to Chichester?
Take a deep breath in and out. I mean, if you want to come, just come. I think that's the first thing.
Bring loads of products with you.
Yes.
Yeah, bring
your
hair.
barber.
Yeah, bring stock up
Your
on the hair
suitcase.
products, sis, get it together, and don't feel uncomfortable to call people out when it needs to be called out. Yeah, and just stay in your truth, you know, and then the people that are like you will gravitate towards you as well. I think
Solid
that's the main
advice.
thing, yeah.
Ken, have you got anything to add?
Yeah. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
People will love you for you.
Yeah.
I don't think people actually, like, certain people, the normal people, judge people for being black and da-da-da-da-da, you know what I'm saying? Like, you will be loved. It's not, you shouldn't be scared. Like, I wasn't scared to go to Chichester. I was just aware that there was not going to be many black people. But you might be surprised. There might be, go find your local black man and he will be your best friend for years to come. Because every black person I've met here, I've stayed in contact with forever. So look
really
after
great.
each other.
Excellent. And I'll kind of float this out to all of you. You can kind of chip in as and when you wish. What key thing would you like listeners to take away from this episode and learn about being a black person?
I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that we're not all the same.
No.
Just keep that in mind. And yeah, I feel like honestly that's the biggest thing. Like, we're not all the same. You'll be surprised the different interests that we all have, like, you know, like all of our different cultures. Because yes, like, we're all black, but I'm Ghanaian, he's Congolese. You said you're Caribbean, right? Or Caribbean.
Plantain.
I know, plantain, not sure. So I think, yeah, if anything, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So maybe diversify your knowledge of what black people are, I guess you could say, yeah. And yeah,
You're nailing it, Frida.
thanks.
Go for it.
I was made for this.
Yeah, you were.
Next
Born
week,
to
man.
do it. You can have my job. It's easy, really. So if you want to learn any more information from the university, you can contact us on Instagram at University of Chichester or Twitter at ChiUni. We also have TikTok at University of Chichester, or you can email us on studyhere@chi.ac.uk and you can join the conversation with #ChiUni. And Jamel mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to re-mention the anonymous reporting on ucsu.org/tell us. So thank you so much, all three of you, for coming on today.
No worries.
No,
Thank you.
thank you. It's been really good.
I hope you've found it useful just to have a
Get it
voice.
off our chest.
Get it off your chests. Exactly.
Start the conversation.
Yeah. This is a good place to do it. So thank you again and goodbye.
Thank you.
Love you, Mum. I better make it. Yeah.